My beloved brothers and sisters, today we address a topic that causes confusion in many families, the marriage of our daughters. Islam is clear, yet culture and emotions often mix things up. Some parents misuse their authority and try to force a marriage. On the other hand, some daughters think Islam allows them to completely disregard their parents. Both extremes are wrong. Today, let's learn what Allah and His Messenger have actually taught us. Allah Almighty says in the Quran, and consult them in the matter. Zayal Iman 3:9. This shows that consultation and agreement are part of our faith. And the Prophet said, a woman's marriage is not valid until a guardian gives consent, and she must also give her own consent. Tirmidhi. So Islam teaches us balance. Parents must not force their daughters because compulsion is oppression. And daughters must not rebel against their parents because Allah has commanded kindness, obedience, and respect towards them. The right path is in the middle, a marriage chosen with mutual consultation, where the daughter's heart is at peace and the parents' blessings are with her. That is where Allah puts barakah. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most beautiful aspects of Islam is how it honors and protects the dignity of women. At a time in history when women were often treated as property, with no say in their own lives, Islam came and gave them a voice, a right, and a choice. Among the most important of these rights is the right of a woman, especially a daughter, to consent to her own marriage. The Prophet Muhammad made this matter crystal clear. In an authentic hadith, he said, a previously married woman has more right to a marriage than her guardian, and a virgin's consent must be sought regarding herself. Her silence indicates her permission. Sahih Muslim. This means that in Islam, a nikah is not valid without the woman's agreement. Her will cannot be ignored and her voice cannot be silenced. Sadly, in some cultures, parents assume that because they are the guardians, they can decide everything about their daughter's marriage, even against her wishes. But my brothers and sisters, this is not Islam. This is culture, and culture cannot overrule the teachings of the Prophet. A father or mother cannot simply say, I have chosen this man for you, therefore you must marry him. That is not the way of justice, mercy, or Islam. In fact, there are hadith where women came to the Prophet complaining that they had been married off without their permission. The Prophet gave them the choice either to continue in that marriage if they were content or to cancel it if they were not. This shows us that Islam does not accept forced marriages. The daughter's approval is not a formality, it is a condition. Now, why is this so important? Because marriage is not a business deal, nor is it a family contract to join tribes or protect wealth. Marriage is a lifelong companionship, a bond of mercy and tranquility. Allah describes marriage in the Quran as a relationship of love and comfort. And among His signs is that He created for you from yourselves spouses that you may find tranquility in them, and He placed between you affection and mercy. So Surah Ar-Ram 32 went. How can there be mercy, love and tranquility if the marriage begins with compulsion and resentment? The daughter's consent is essential because she is the one who will live with her husband, not her parents. She is the one who will face the challenges of marriage, raise children and build a home. It is only fair, is only just, and it is only Islamic that she has the right to say yes or no. Parents, of course, have a role. They are there to guide, to advise, to protect their daughters from harmful choices. But that guidance should never turn into dictatorship. The wali is a guardian, not a tyrant. The father's responsibility is to ensure his daughter's suitor is a man of good religion and character, but the final choice belongs to the daughter. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let us correct this misunderstanding. Islam has honored women with the right to consent. Parents should listen to their daughters with love and wisdom, and daughters should respect their parents' advice. When both work together, marriages are built on trust, love and barakah. But when consent is ignored, not only is the marriage void of blessing, it becomes an injustice that Allah will ask about on the day of judgment. Remember, in Islam, a daughter's consent is not optional, it is essential. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest misconceptions in parts of the Muslim world today is the idea that parents have the right to force their daughters into marriage. Let us be very clear. In Islam, forcing a woman into marriage is absolutely prohibited. It goes against the mercy of our faith, the justice of our law, and the teachings of our beloved Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet said in an authentic hadith, a virgin cannot be married without her permission, and a previously married woman cannot be married without her command. Says Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. These words leave no room for doubt. A nikah without the bride's consent is invalid in the sight of Allah. It does not matter if the parents agree, if the family agrees, or if the community approves. Without her consent, it is not a valid Islamic marriage. There are many examples in the Sunnah that prove this principle. A young woman once came to the Prophet and told him that her father had married her off without her consent. The Prophet gave her the choice either to accept the marriage or to have it annulled. She chose to stay married, but she made it clear that she wanted women to know that fathers could not force their daughters into marriage. This incident, recorded in the Hadith collections, proof that Islam empowers women to protect their rights. Now, why is forcing marriage prohibited? Because marriage in Islam is not a contract of power. It is a bond of love, mercy and companionship. Allah says in the curve, and He placed between you love and mercy. Our Ramthos in Tutiwant. How can love and mercy exist if the marriage begins with compulsion and resentment? If a woman is forced into a marriage, her heart is not in it, and that union is built on injustice. And we know, my brothers and sisters, that Allah does not bless injustice. Unfortunately, some people hide behind culture and claim they are following Islam when they pressure their daughters into marrying someone for wealth, social status, or family ties. But this is not Islam. This is cultural oppression. The Prophet taught us to marry based on deen and character, not money or prestige. By forcing marriages for worldly gains, people not only harm their daughters, but also bring fitna and corruption into society. Let us also remember, my brothers and sisters, that forcing marriage is a betrayal of trust. Parents are guardians, protectors of their daughters, not dictators. Guardianship is a position of responsibility, not control. When a father forces his daughter to marry someone she does not want, he abuses the very role Allah gave him to safeguard her rights and dignity. In Islam, the daughter has the right to say no. She has the right to refuse a suitor, and her voice must be heard. Parents should counsel, advise, and guide their daughters, but they cannot override her will. The Prophet said, there is no marriage without the permission of the guardian and the consent of the woman. Both conditions must be fulfilled. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, let us remove this false practice from our communities. Forcing marriage is prohibited in Islam. It is an injustice to women, a betrayal of trust, and a violation of the Sunnah. True Islamic marriages are built on mutual respect, consent, and the desire to seek Allah's pleasure together. Anything less is not from Islam. Allah will question those who oppress their daughters in this way. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most misunderstood concepts in our communities today is the role of the wali, the guardian, in a woman's marriage. Islam has given the wali, usually the father or a close male relative, a noble responsibility. But sadly, many misuse this responsibility and turn it into a form of control. Let us be clear, in Islam, the guardian's role is protection, not domination. The Prophet Muhammad said, there is no marriage without a guardian. See Abu Dawud Tirmidhi. Some people take this hadith and wrongly believe it means that a guardian can decide on behalf of the daughter without considering her wishes. But if we look at the teachings of the Prophet as a whole, we find the opposite. The wali is meant to safeguard the daughter's interests, not to impose his own desires. Why is a guardian required in the first place? It is because Islam values the protection and dignity of women. A guardian is someone who ensures that the man seeking her hand is responsible, righteous, and of good character. He helps her make a wise decision and protects her from being taken advantage of. This is an act of mercy, not oppression. Unfortunately, in many cultures, the role of the wali has been twisted into a tool of power. Fathers sometimes refuse good proposals simply because of pride, social status, or personal dislike. Others may pressure their daughters into marrying someone wealthy or connected without caring about the daughter's feelings. This is not protection. This is injustice. The wali is betraying his trust if he blocks a suitable marriage for worldly reasons. The Prophet gave us the correct balance. He said, if someone with whose religion and character you are pleased comes to you with a proposal, then marry him to your daughter. If you do not do so, there will be fitna and great corruption on earth. Later made it. Notice how the Prophet emphasized deen and character, not money, not tribe, not status. The guardian's duty is to prioritize righteousness, not his own ego. Another key point, my brothers and sisters, is that the daughter's consent remains essential. The wali cannot override her voice. If she does not agree, the marriage is not valid. This balance shows us that the wali and the daughter must work together. He protects her, advises her, and ensures her safety while she chooses with her heart and mind. Together, they build a foundation for a blessed marriage. Think of it like this: the wali is like a shield. His job is to guard against harm, not to cage the daughter inside his will. Domination breeds resentment, but protection builds trust. A daughter who knows her father, respects her choices, will turn to him naturally for advice. But if she feels controlled, she may hide her feelings, and this can lead to bigger problems. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let us reclaim the true meaning of guardianship in Islam. Fathers and guardians must be protectors, not dictators. They must guide with love, not with force. And daughters must respect their guardians, while remembering that their voice is honored in Islam. When guardianship is exercised with justice, compassion, and sincerity, marriages are blessed, homes are peaceful, and societies are protected from corruption. But when it is abused as a tool of domination, it leads to oppression, broken families, and young hearts turning away from Islam. Remember, the wali is a guardian, not a ruler. His role is protection, not domination. My beloved brothers and sisters, when it comes to marriage, Islam gives us a clear and simple guideline: choose righteousness over culture, wealth, and societal pressure. Yet, sadly, many people ignore this divine guidance and allow cultural pride, financial greed, or family pressure to dictate their decisions. The result is often broken homes, unhappy marriages, and young people being driven away from Islam. The Prophet Muhammad gave us timeless advice. He said, if someone with whose religion and character you are pleased comes to you with a proposal, then marry him. If you do not do so, there will be fitna and great corruption on earth. See Tirmidhi. Notice how the Prophet highlighted two qualities: deen-si religion and akhlaq's character. He did not say wealth, beauty, tribe, or social class. He said righteousness and good conduct. Why? Because these are the foundations of a lasting marriage. When parents or guardians allow culture to take precedence, they risk rejecting good, pious proposals simply because the suitor belongs to a different tribe, community, or financial background. But my brothers and sisters, Islam came to break down these barriers. Allah tells us in the Quran, indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Ayah Al-Hujrat 49-103. Honor and status in Islam are not based on race, wealth, or family name. They are based on taqwa. Some parents, unfortunately, pressure their daughters to marry wealthy men for security or social status, ignoring their deen and akhlaq. Others push their sons into marriages that elevate family honor but neglect compatibility in faith. In doing so, they trade Allah's guidance for cultural pride, and as the Prophet warned, opens the doors to fitna, trials, broken marriages, and even the spread of zina when people are denied halal, righteous unions. Choosing righteousness also means prioritizing peace and barakah in the home. A man with deen and akhlaq will treat his wife with kindness even when he is upset. A woman with deen and akhlaq will honor her husband even when times are hard. Wealth can vanish, beauty can fade, and status can change, but righteousness and character remain. These qualities hold a marriage together through both ease and hardship. Parents, therefore, must resist cultural pressure and remember their duty before Allah. When they block righteous proposals for superficial reasons, they are not protecting their children, they are harming them. On the day of judgment, Allah will ask parents about this trust. Were they guardians who guided with justice, or dictators who placed culture above Islam? And young men and women must also reflect. Do not let your heart be swayed by glamour, looks, or wealth alone. Ask, does this person bring me closer to Allah? Do they have patience, kindness, and honesty? For these are the qualities that will matter in marriage long after the wedding day. My beloved brothers and sisters, let us return to the guidance of the Prophet. Let us choose righteousness over culture, deen over pride, and akhlaq over wealth. When we do this, our marriages will be filled with barakah, our families will be strong, and our societies will be protected from corruption. Remember, culture fades, pressure passes, but righteousness remains forever.